Hello everyone, Pockets here, back again playing some more EVE Online. Today taking a look at Operation Permafrost. I know we've already gotten a fair piece into it, about a week in, maybe about a week left. But for this one I wanted to take some time to really wrap my head around it before I talked about it. I have some things to say, positive and negative. There are some positive things, there are some negative things about this particular event. But let's just get into it real quick. As you can see here, I am sitting in a venture. This is a very interesting spot for me because I'm not really a mining person. I don't do mining and industry all that much. And this event really did focus on resource harvesting a lot, it seems. So lucky for me, I did train this particular venture fit. It's like the only fit I can do in a venture. Did it for back when I was going to do resource wars. This was my soloing and dueling T1s and T2 resource wars venture. After that, my idea was to get into combat ships and bring miners with me. But for soloing T1s, I had this one fit done up. You see it's colored in Galente. It was kind of the whole shtick, but at this point I've kind of back-burnered resource wars. I'm not sure if they're even going to touch them again. They're not exactly where I was hoping they'd be. That's a story for a different day. I can luckily fly one venture. It's the only thing I can fly. I'll show you the fit. It's so bad I can't even fit a T1 mining upgrades on this character. So I can't fit a mining upgrade. I could train the skill, but I didn't really feel like wasting the points. I had trained Gas Cloud Harvester to 2 just for some playing around, doing like wormhole exploration, which is paying off as you'll see. But here's the fit, and I've built this kind of interesting. It's a tanky little fit. Again, it was for soloing resource wars, so you had to tank and fight frigates and cruisers. And so here we go. So in the highs, this is flexible. Right now there's Gas Cloud Harvesters, T1s, that's all I can really fly. I can fly T2 miners. It's kind of an important part of Resource Wars, is mining as fast as you can, so I did train that back then. So I have those in my cargo hold. And small lasers, and if I uncheck ammo, T2 ammo. Now this, obviously I can fly T2 guns and ammo, so it works out, and that's for the kill quests, but we'll talk about that as we get a little longer into here. So that's the fit there for the highs. Any three of these, it's cap stable with any of these loadouts. You can mix and match if you really wanted to, like one mining laser, one gas harvester. If you wanted to do such things, I haven't done that yet. Small cap battery 2, shield booster 2, afterburner 2. These are easily meta down if you can't fit tech 2s, especially in the battery. Should be able to be just fine. The battery might be a little tight when you're running the lasers, so you may want to switch. Since it's unbonused, you can put any turret in there, put projectiles in there if you want to save on cap. I just happen to have extra mining lasers here. And then a tech 2 damage control to bring up our resists a little bit. Dual anti-kinetic screens. And a semiconductor memory cell just to bring that cap stable, and I'll show you why. I'll show you the cargo hold already. And the drones, just 2 Hornets, Hornet 2s, and away we go. So this does work. There's a lot of different event categories, and again, a lot of them seem to be focused on mining and flying mining ships. So you can see here, in a Rorqual or Orca, defeat a player. I can't do that. Can't fly an Orca, can't fly a Rorqual. That's not something I've ever trained on this character. So I can't actually do this one. We'll open it up so you can see how many points they're worth. And that is worth 15 points, which isn't bad. See, I'm already at the 600 points, so I got this baby. Harvest tricarboxyl vapor from an ice dwarf for 30 points. I need 800 of them. Harvest the same, 1400. So it's kind of a chain, but I've got it 3 times. So this is like the bottom of the chain, 350, and then it goes up. And this is all vapor. Now there's also a special ore, the triboxyl compound, I think. Do I have any on me? No, I don't have any around. Oh, right there. Triboxyl condensate. So I do have a little bit of that around as well, and that you get from like your ice rocks. It freezes in the atmosphere and you go mine it. But you can see I've got 3 of them for that. Data retrieval is one I've been running. This is 3 or 4 down the line. So I have to hack 40 sites for 35 points. I'll probably do that again. This is pretty tasty right now because if I get this 1400, it's worth like 100 points. So I'm going to do it, even though I don't mind. And then sell a Frostline Omnivore Harvester upgrade. I did have a blueprint for it. I'm not entirely sure where I put it. But it's only 5 points, so it's probably not worth it, so I've kind of been sitting on that. As a combat player, there were some combat ones as well, so there was killing Mortis ships, period, as you would typically expect, which are your frigates, cruisers, and there's battleships and whatnot. There was destroy the battleships, the Centurion battleships, but I haven't been getting a lot of those. What I have been getting a lot of is this mining this vapor, mining the ore, killing Mordu ships while in a mining ship I got, which is why I have this one with the laser option. And I did have, as part of this chain, killing a Mordu ship while in a ship fit for hacking, or a hacking bonus ship. So my Astero works great for that. And we can go through all that if you guys want, but really, the cans themselves are a little harder. They're like null sec level hacks, but you can do them as many times as you need. So even with a little bit less skills and fitting, you can still actually run the hacking sites pretty reasonably. I do them in an Astero and just have the drones out to defend myself. You could fit. I have done it in a Gnosis on my Alpha just to test it. So I have an Alpha that just threw a data module in the mid, flew out there and just did his thing. So that's not so bad. The combat site can get really hard. I did try it in the Gnosis and it couldn't quite handle it. I probably need to tweak the fit a bit. I've been running the combat site ones when I do get them, which is super rare. I've been running them in a Tengu or a Gila. Those both work just fine. I did have one really interesting kill, was to kill one of the battleships with small weapons. So I took my Confessor in, and it worked until I pulled too much aggro and I had to get out. But I did manage to do that. There was also, for the record, a kill another player flying a mining ship. So if they're in a mining ship and you kill them, it was like salt farming. I bypassed that just by throwing one of my alts in a venture, unfit venture, and dueling them, and that worked, so that's great. I'm not really going to go hunting people, but anyway, the point is, a lot of mining. So let's get out there and we'll start flying, and I'll talk about my thoughts. As a player, I'm actually in a fleet with there'll be boosts and stuff, so I'm going to go join them now. Luckily, I have some miners. Let's get this guy. We'll warp to him. As we enter the site, sometimes you take damage. I did have one where I flew in, and the venture I had the shield booster on, and it took all of my hull. And I think it might have been because I increased the signature radius. Anyway, as a non-miner, this event has been actually pretty hard for me to get my head around. So I did spend a lot of time hacking because at the beginning I just wasn't going to mine, but that really started to hurt my income or my point gathering. So I decided just to suck it up and do it. So what I've been doing is joining these guys. They've been out here mining. This is some of my mining guys in Corp. So I've just been joining them and getting the boosts from fleet. This is cap stable, so I just fire everything up. There we go. He's ready to go. The nice thing with the clouds is they take up the whole space, so you can just lock them from anywhere. And away you go. You can see, I go back to this tab, here's the ore. There you go. Mine these rocks. But anyway, so yeah, it was a really hard one for me. I had to wrap my head around the changing of these tasks. There were lots of variants of what you needed to do. I do like to see that it's a little bit more mining focused. It's good for those guys. Like, I know my mining guys are always a little struggling to do the combat ones. This had a lot of opportunity to fit a lot more variety. In my opinion, I think what it would work is having maybe 3 of them are fixed, so one's always for mining. And maybe those ones aren't something that a lot of people won't be able to do. You know, like have the vapor ones always be, or vapor and or maybe flip between them, whatever, but one for mining, one for combat, one for hacking, and then the other 3 could be random. Something like that might have helped a little bit, in my opinion. But again, this is a problem we've had in the reverse for all the previous events, so I don't mind this one being a little more mining focused. It just made it a little harder for me to do. The combat ones were fun. I had a lot of fun with the combat room. It's lots of really spread out, lots of targets. The only problem with it is only the battleships drop anything of value, really, as far as I've been able to determine. You know, a lot of my guys have been dropping MTUs and looting all the rats, and it's mostly just standard meta modules, your standard stuff you get from Enom ratting, that sort of thing. So not a whole lot of value there. A lot of the value was in the battleships, which could be a little hard. I did also notice like most battleships were in pairs. You kill one of the 2 will have the loot, and the other one will have almost nothing, which is good and bad, because what happens is if you're both racing and one of you pick one of you pick the other, one of you is going to get loot. And I'm okay with that, actually. It was just interesting. It did mean that sometimes you'd kill a whole bunch of battleships and not get anything, but also I only got 2 tasks to kill the battleships. So other than going and actually farming them, maybe once I'm done all the points, I've had to really focus on other activities. So again, I'd like to see in the future, as a future development, is meet somewhere in the middle of the harvesting, hacking, combat Venn diagram. Put something where we can sort of hover in the middle and people can kind of choose their tasks. Another option would be something like being able to, once every day, hour, whatever, some sort of time period, once every so often, just being able to get rid of one of these. So like I could close this and then for an hour I have to just sort of live with what I have. Something like that might work as well. Just to get some more variety, because right now, like I said, for the last 2 days I've done nothing but mining. You can see here I am gathering points. Again, this is going to work out because when I get the 14, it's going to mean I've had both of these already hit as well. So I'm going to get a good decent amount of points. We'll see what spawns here. But yeah, this has been basically my entire Christmas Eve. I was just chatting with people in fleet and orbiting this guy's orca and mining. So a little less engaging than I would like from my point of view. They've been loving it out here mining all day. That's what they do. And the ore is worth something. So, and I've been donating mine to him to kind of pay for the boosts. So as I fill out my hold, if I don't need it, drop it into his bin. Some of the other stuff you can get is you harvest the vapor, but then you also get a task to process a certain amount of it. So don't just get rid of it all at once, because I could get this, clear this off, and it's like, okay, now process 800 vapor into its secondary material, which is a compound, I believe it's used in the booster manufacturing. Not my thing. I'm pretty sure that's what it's for. All in all, I did enjoy this event from a mechanic standpoint. So the fact that there was a variety of things, I've had to use 4 different ships to kind of mix and match and do the different tasks was really cool. I couldn't just sit in the Gila. In fact, I only undocked my Gila once, flew it to the combat site to kill 1 battleship because it was kill 1 battleship. The very next task was kill a battleship using medium weapons. And the drones didn't count as medium weapons, and neither did the rapid light missiles. So I had to switch my ship. So I did like that part of it. From a storyline point of view, I don't know exactly what's going on. I'm kind of hoping the story goes somewhere. So the whole point is we're attacking these frostline, these mining things that are done by ore/upwell. Okay, so we've been contracted. The agency has been contracted by somebody, we don't know who, to come and disrupt these operations for ore/upwell. Now, there's no reason for us to hate ore. I mean, traditionally we've actually been on ore's side. They've been friend of Capsuleers for a while. Same with Upwell. So who is pulling the strings? You may think, and I've been talking to, Ashtarothi and a few other lore guys, and one would think, say something like maybe the Serpentis, who have a grudge against Upwell, or something like that. But I've actually been in this site and had Serpentis dudes fly in and attack us. Not attacking the Mordus as far as I could tell, but attacking us. So where's the story going? It's just a weird thing to me. It's almost like there's someone controlling the agency or whatever, but we don't know who it is. So maybe they'll go somewhere with it, but I don't know. This, after the tale of kind of tweaking with Crimson Harvest a bit, was a little sad too, so I don't know where the story's going. Because Crimson Harvest originally was that the Blood Raiders were coming into space and they were harvesting the blood of Capsuleers. That was the whole point. They were killing Capsuleers and people and taking their blood to make their drugs and do their things. And they changed that in the last one. So there's a pretty big shift in where the story's kind of going. And it's becoming about harvesting these rare resources. Now I can't remember what it was called, but it was a pretty important mineral that you harvested in Crimson Harvest. It was used to free the Minmatar from their mind controlling drugs or whatever, so they can become less slave-like. And we're seeing that kind of escalating with the hostilities right now between the Amarr and the Minmatar. So there is some story that it's a very jarring transition, and I can feel it. So I'm hoping that things go well. I have faith in the writers. We'll see where they go. It's almost like they're trying to slightly lighten up the storyline to kind of make the game itself more palatable to a broader audience. Good or bad, that's to each person to decide. Depending on where they go, I'll be okay with it if it's still a good political moving story with lots of nuance, as it has been going for the last, 14 years? So yeah, interested to see where they're going. A little struggling with the deviation from existing lore, but we'll see where that goes. But all in all, I think it's a pretty good event. I am going to attempt to get the 900 points. I really want the skin for the Megathron. So on that note, while we're going to sit here and spin, we'll just make sure I can see some things, make sure I'm not dying here. I do have some friends here, so we got, well, I guess the Orca left to unload probably. I don't have my chat window up, so I can't see what he's saying. I should at least have fleet window up, but I don't. It's probably just unloading. Alright, so some of the rewards. Let's take a look at the skins. This is the one I want, so I'm going to show it first. It's the 900, it's the final reward, it's the Megathron Operation Permafrost skin. Permanent. I don't know why that was so hard to read, but there we go. It's like it's kind of a variation of the Glacial Drift skin, so if you look at this, this is kind of the old skin. Fades white to black. Looks pretty cool on the Megathron. But this is the new one from this site. And you can just see just so nice with this frosty look. And if you look carefully, you can see right here, we've got little tufts of like frost coming off the hull. And little frost motes and some sort of steam looking. Like that's a very cold ship, like you've been working in a cold environment. I like it a lot. So I am going to try to get this at least on one character. If the skills hold true, my second, I might do it on Pockets as well. He can fly an Orca, so I might have a little bit better time if I buy him an Orca again. I bought one for him a while ago, mostly just sat in it, tethered for fun, and then gave it away. So I don't mind. So I might try to do it twice, but I definitely want to get through it, the last 300 points with Kel here. So you get that at the end. At 600 points, you get the MLEKP Polybolus Ballistic Control. Oh, these are cleared away. Good. So we'll take a look at this. I do have a few of these because I got them off of the battleships as well. They do drop from the battleships. Now this is a blueprint crate, so I think it's a 3-run blueprint. If we look, can't actually see it. We have to open it. Damn. How do I do this? View market details. No, not that. Let's do it this way. Polybolus. Search. So this is one of the two, or one of the special modules that you can get. Let's bring up the info for it. Computer system designed for monitoring and guiding missiles in flight, modified by Mortal's Legion to enhance kill probability of missiles against faster targets. So it's really cool. Instead of a 10-ish% bonus to rate of fire and damage, it's an 8 and 8 to rate of fire and damage, but also an 8% to explosion velocity. So the way missiles work is when they explode, and the speed of the target is compared to the missile explosion velocity, and that kind of determines how much damage it takes. There's a few other factors as well, but that's one of the damaging factors. So this is an 8% bonus against faster moving targets, which is pretty cool. It allows some flexibility in how you design your ships. You can put these in there and aim it more towards like an anti-frigate ship, or you can put the higher damage ones for attacking bigger targets. So it'll be interesting to see how these sort of play out. Due to them being time limited, they're going to be pretty expensive. Right now they're 30 million because everybody's getting them. In a few months, who knows where that could go. So I'm probably going to sit on mine just like I did with the last special, the drone ones we got from Drone. What was it called? I don't remember. Like 3 events ago or something. But yeah, so that's cool. Then we get the Hurricane Permafrost skin. So I'll take a look at that while I mine. Again, normally I'd be chatting, I'd be on comms or chatting in chat, but so also it looks pretty good. You can really see the transition right here and the motes coming off of it. The skins that these guys have been coming up with are so nice, just so incredible. Just really come into finding a new look. Here's another one I have, the Omen. Show info. Basically the same thing, but on an Omen. I like with the dark patches on this one, where the panels really cut into it. Looks really good. And then the Merlin, which is a great little ship. Any excuse to fly a Merlin. Now I can put a new skin on it. Yeah, good stuff. You can really get a sense of the transition right here. It looks like snowflakes and frost, and then the little motes. Yeah, there you go. So all in all, this event coupled with the 13 days of Christmas has really been an interesting time. The event itself has been hard for me, easier for some others because they have orcas. There's my orca back, or my friendly orca back. All right, we're at about half. So yeah, it takes a long time to do this. Some of the other stuff that's come out for Christmas. Actually, first, so final thoughts. All in all, I like the event from a mechanical standpoint. There's videos out there I can link to Gentleman Gamers where he kind of goes over the gates, what everything is, but I can briefly explain it. So when you first warp to the Ice Dwarf, oh, that's the other point. So Ice Dwarf, everything happens centered around this Ice Dwarf planet. You can see we're over it right now. It does limit the camera a little bit. Actually, it's not so bad. They did change it. It was when it first came, you couldn't look up past about here. Or down and past about here. Like, it was really tight. It kind of loosened that up. I think that was trying to get some of the atmosphere, like you're in an atmosphere, but you can see we're right over the surface of this planet. If I control and zoom out, yeah, my ship's not big enough. You can see there's like a mist kind of in the distance caused by the planet. Very cool stuff. Looks great. These are arrays for reprocessing, so you can grab the vapor and reprocess it here. 100% reprocess rate. One for the vapor up here. This is the condensate, so from the ore. And this is the vapor from the clouds. It's pretty cool. All right. One of the things is having this ice dwarf. There's only one per constellation. So in our constellation, Charm is it. There's one a couple jumps over in the next constellation, but there's only one per constellation. So it really concentrates any activity. So not everybody running it. You can see here, all these people are running it. And these are the only rocks. I've come in and had 0 rocks. They've just been completely cleaned out. The combat site has lots of clusters of ships, but only a handful. Like, I've only ever seen as many as 5 of the battleships spread out at once. Usually when you go in, it's completely picked over of battleships, and all that's left is the smaller stuff. So it becomes kind of difficult to get some of the battleship kill rates. The other nice thing is the hacking nodes. There's 4 groups of 4, so there's 16 nodes, and they're spread, 70 kilometers, 80 kilometers apart. So in clusters of 4 over there, and then 70 kilometers away is another cluster of 4. And if you're really fast at hacking, you can clear all 4 of them. But if you're a little slower, by the time you get the 4th one done, the first one's respawned, and you just can keep circling through it. And even if you're a little faster, I end up just orbiting the next one until it respawns, because it's quicker than flying back and forth unless you set up bookmarks. What that usually means is someone will go grab one cluster and start doing it, and then if you come in, you can grab a different one. And usually you'll have 4 people. Once you get about 5, then you start getting races, but it's not so bad. That was probably the easiest one that way, in having enough for everybody. But having everything clustered did bring everybody running the event into one system. It really increased the amount of competition for the resources. It was really seen in the battleships. So I don't know if that's what they want. They want people racing the battleships down. I mean, I'm fine racing, and then when it's only clustered like this, I mean, I can't go find my own site. So again, another thing that I am fine with, it's just I can see how it would frustrate some people to come in and there's no battleships and you have to kill battleships for something. All in all, great event. When you first warp to the Ice Dwarf, there's 3 gates. There's a north gate, which leads to the combat room with all the multiple group clusters of ships, battleships, the whole bit. The east gate, which goes to the hacking room, and the west gate, which leads here to the harvesting room. All in all, a good event. I'd like to see them find a balance in each event where there's some mining, some combat, and some hacking, maybe some other types of things that you can do. What it looked like to me was they were testing, here's 100 different types of tasks, let's just put them all in and see what happens, right? So you get all this variation, and it's cool to see some of the variations they can actually do. But that's going to be it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through all the fits and what does what, because really, fit a combat ship and go do the combat rooms. If it's got a decent tank, like your standard Gila has no problem. You could probably do okay with a Vexor or an Omen or any other cruiser. Battleships seem to work great. I do intend at some point maybe to try Cursed in his last Praxis fit. Just take it in there, switch out the hardeners for kinetic and try it. But we'll see. If I do that, I will record it, but I have no current plans right now to do fittings, just because as the tasks change, the ship you need to fly changes, and you have to kind of be adaptable. It's just kind of it, and it's great that way. It just makes it harder for me to say this fit does it, because it'll do it until it doesn't. So if you guys would like to see the Tengu fit I used, the Gila fit is my typical one. I can post that again if you'd like, and my Estero fit for the hacking room. But other than that, that's the event. So I hope you guys liked that video. I know I kind of rambled on. I do that. I was just trying to really wrap my head around what I feel about this. I'm a little bit split. I liked it, but there were things I didn't like because of the mining. Anyways, guys, as always, that's going to be it. Leave your comments down in the comment section down below. Definitely want to talk more about this. Give me your feelings on this event, what you think. Keep it civil. I love discussing these things, but we got to keep it civil. As always, take care of each other. I'm out of here.